Hey everybody, this is Nick reporting from the Gibson Man Cave. I need to talk to you for a little while about our year-end giving. I have this sort of philosophy on particularly year-end giving that churches should make a push for year-end giving. They should challenge people to make an abnormally generous gift at Christmas time of the years, and not just for tax purposes, but for devotion purposes. It's a time of, in some ways, God's greatest gift to us and Jesus coming to earth to become our Savior. So I think it's a good idea, but here's a couple things that bother me. A lot of times churches have like 50 things at the end of the year. And I think that's unhelpful because people feel kind of nickel and dime. They get one thing and then they have to give again, and then they're asked to give again, and then they're asked to give again. And they're asked to give to lots of different things, and it can be really frustrating. But at the same time, there's lots of really good causes to give to. So this year what we want to do is we want to streamline the giving process to as few things as possible, and I want to tell you everything you're going to be asked about right up front. I want you to know about every appeal before we make the first one. So there's going to be 3 appeals this year. The first 2 appeals are mainly focused on giving with our kids. Kids don't really get the whole look at your spreadsheet, write a check, Christian sacrifice. There aren't enough physical things to connect it with for them to really engage with that kind of giving. So we're going to do Operation Christmas Child, which is putting together a box of gifts, small gifts to be sent a lot of times to kids overseas through Samaritan's Purse, which is Franklin Graham's organization. And then the other one is called Angel Tree, which is to buy gifts and bring them to the family of incarcerated people so that the kids whose dads are in prison, they sort of get a Christmas in terms of presents and stuff. And usually the gifts are given on behalf of Christ and on behalf of their dad or mom who's in prison. It's a really neat ministry. It's through Prison Fellowship, which was started by Chuck Colson, if you know anything about those people or organizations. So it's a really good gift, and the incarcerated families we'll give to will be from our area. And so that's an opportunity for you to take your kid or kids and say, kids, this is what we're going to do. We're gonna buy some gifts for a kid overseas and pack together this box for Operation Christmas Child. Or kids, we're gonna go to the store and we're gonna buy some gifts for a family who isn't gonna have a daddy at Christmas this year. Daddy's in jail. So those are 2 opportunities for your kids. The one opportunity that's focused on everybody is just going to be a straight up year-end gift. That's it. I mean, there's nothing cool about it. The fact is that High Point Church is not as financially solid as we really need to be. And we need to take that first step of trying to meet our budget, trying to have a strong positive cash flow, and to really have what some people call a boiler fund. It's enough money set aside so that if something big happens, we're not insolvent. In High Point churches, we're solvent. We have positive cash flow, but we don't have any kind of asset margin that a church of our size with our kind of overhead and fixed expenses really ought to have to be considered financially healthy. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about this because in the past we've normally had 3 weeks where you could give to our missionaries for a Christmas gift and 3 weeks where you could give to our staff for a staff bonus. There's 2 pieces of logic I want to bring in on this. One is, in relationship to missionaries, there's a sense in which Christmas gifts aren't as great as kept promises. We've had to lower our missions giving a couple of times in the last 4 or 5 years, and I really think our priority needs to be getting back to our promised giving rather than simply giving a Christmas gift. So what we're going to do when we give to the general fund, a significant portion of that is going to be earmarked right off the top for missionaries. It's going to come to them around Christmas time, but we're really going to focus on trying to meet our promise to them, which is essentially our budget for them. And our missionaries really need to come first. A lot of these people have made very significant sacrifices. We just can't hang them out to dry, even if things are bad for us, if the numbers aren't as high as we'd like them to be. And then the second thing is, above the amount that is going to go to the missionaries to meet those numbers, everything else will go to the general budget fund to meet our budget, to have some asset reserve, and to put us in a better place of financial health. Now you might be saying, well, what about the staff? Shouldn't the staff get a year-end bonus? Some of them are really underpaid, and that's true. However, our staff has come together and said as a team, this is not the right time for us to be getting 3 weeks of special gifts for a Christmas bonus. And particularly John and I, not only are we fairly well, I mean, we're well paid, we're fairly paid staff, and also one of the things is that because he and I are the public faces of the church in a way, people do stuff for us that they don't do for the other staff members. There are benefits of praise and encouragement, and just people will do stuff for us that they don't necessarily do for all the other staff members. So this is what we decided to do. John and I are not going to get any Christmas bonuses no matter if we bring in $1 million. He and I are not getting staff bonuses. The other staff that don't get a lot of favors done for them and that really are underpaid for what we'd really like to pay them, probably all of us, they're going to throw themselves on the mercy of the finance committee. If we raise enough money that we make our budget, we're solvent, things look solid money-wise, then the finance committee may make the decision anyway to say, we're in great shape. Let's give some Christmas bonuses to some of our most underpaid staff. That's basically everybody but John and I. But another thing the elders have done, when I went and talked to the elders and said, hey, this is how the staff feels about Christmas bonuses, one of the things that we worked out with Gene and myself and the elders was to try to give some kind of non-cash benefit that doesn't hurt the church, but is a form of generosity to the staff. And what we decided to do was to give the staff 2 days off, the day after Thanksgiving, and 1 day during the week between Christmas and New Year's. And they're going to get that. We voted on that last night with the elders. They'll get that whether they get a Christmas bonus or not. So they'll get something here at the year's end. So with all that said, I think here's what I want to tell you. The big year-end push is going to be to ask everybody to make a generous year-end gift just to our general fund. There'll be 2 or 3 weeks in which we'll give people an opportunity to put that into an envelope and give it, and we'll receive it probably till the end of the year if you're behind for some reason. A lot of people have a certain amount you give. For some people it's a tithe, it's 10%. For other people it's a different amount that they've determined. And so what we're asking is for you to go back to your budget and say, for the health and good of God's church, what can I do that would be generous for us, that would be sacrificial for us? We'll go without something to do this. But I really want to get my church back in a place where we can know that it's in a place of financial health. It's growing strong again. The healing that needs to happen in terms of its structures and finances to come along with some of our new leadership and new ministries and new people are really there. And for some people, some of you haven't given before at High Point. You're newly back or you're newly in church. This is an opportunity for you to think about maybe you want to make a gift. If this makes you feel like we're trying to get your money, then don't give a gift, because that's not what we want. But if you feel like our church is on a mission, that God has given us something to do, and that you want to be part of it, well then, give. I hope that you'll be really, really glad to do it. I hope that we'll raise what we need to get to the kind of place where we want to be as a church. And I hope that we all can rejoice together in January about it. See you guys later.